Well, welcome everyone to another finance video. My name is Alex and I am excited to have another video here with you guys. We're going to be looking at how we can cut $500 a month. How can we save $500 a month with our existing budget? And so just talking through some ideas, some ways that maybe we can cut some of our unneeded spending to be able to have more money set aside to give, to help further, to save, or just for our own enjoyment of things. And so as you can see here on the screen, I have a budget worksheet pulled up because that is the number one thing. Make a budget. Know where your money's going, tell your money where to go, and so you can actually look and make some real decisions on where your money should be going or where it should not be going. So let's just jump into this real quick, and as we're talking through this, we'll hit some of my top things that you can be looking at to help save money to try to get to that goal of saving $500 a month. And so this is based, I just put in kind of an average household, two income household, about $50,000 for the year. You may be making substantially more than that for your household income. You may be making substantially less than that if you're single and you just have a part-time job or a single job. Your numbers may be very different from this, and so that's why I say make a budget, because you need to start somewhere from that. And so making a budget is just simply adding up all your monthly expenses and your projections on other areas, all your needs, everything that you want, your subscriptions, and all those things, and making sure that when you do the math, your monthly costs are lower than what you're bringing in. So sounds simple enough, but it is a discipline for us to do. So just looking through here, obviously one of the biggest sections of your budget is probably going to be your needs, which is going to be your utility bills, cell phones, internet, your rent or mortgage, paying your taxes, eating, and things such as that. And so there's probably not too much you can do in some of these cases, although I would argue maybe there's some that you could do. Maybe it means you don't get the latest cell phone. And so maybe you have one right now that you're still paying off, or something like that. But like, hey, plan to say, you know what, I'm going to keep this phone for a while. I'm not going to put an extra $10, $20, $30 a month into getting a new phone. And instead, maybe start setting aside some money to save so that when you go to get a new phone, you can just pay for it. That was actually one of the really cool things I was able to do probably about a year and a half ago. I was just wanted a new phone, and I was like, I've got $800. I'm just going to buy it. And so instead of having to have that monthly payment that I was kind of constantly worrying about, I was able to just take money that was saved and put it towards that. So that's the mindset you want to shift in your head, is that instead of just having everything be monthly payments, what if I had money set aside that was saved so I could really think about what it would look like? And here's the thing too. It's real easy to get that new phone when it's $20, $30 a month. When you're looking at spending $800 or $1,000 or more dollars on a phone, you really start to think about it more. And so there's twofold to that. One, you're not making payments, and two, you really start thinking about the things that you buy. So over here under wants, cable TV service. Do we need it? Could you get away without it? Maybe we can make some cuts there. Streaming services, movie streaming services, software subscriptions. If you go through your monthly bills, you probably have a lot of month-to-month subscription services that are just adding up over time, and maybe it's time to make some calls on what should or should not be kept. And then, man, eating out, it's expensive. And again, I'm not saying any of this, I'll just lock yourself in your house and don't spend anything. Like, enjoy life and be with friends, be with people. But let's be smart about what we're doing. And then in this budget here, I have some emergency funds already being set aside, because that is one thing you should make sure you have an emergency fund, some savings set aside, so that you have funds available if needed, because you don't want something coming up that's going to cost you, something breaks in your house and you need $2,000. You don't want to be putting that on a credit card. You want to have some immediate savings set aside that's easily accessible to you. And then I have in here giving. Man, give. Be generous, people. Give locally. Give to things that you care about. Be generous. If we were all more generous, there'd be a lot less poverty and pain in our world. So I put that in there as well, and making a generous amount, making that part of that. And so 10 10% is under savings and givings. Ones are actually pretty low here, and again, this can vary drastically. So using a spreadsheet layout like this is actually really helpful for you to group your things into these three categories. What are your needs? What are your wants? And what are your goals through saving and giving and things like that? So you can save here. These two gray columns are monthly net income and our spending and costs. They balance out to the dollar. Generally, I would say that's good to do. You want it to balance out exactly, because then you're telling all of your money where to go. If you want to build in a buffer, say you budget $6.50 for groceries, but you want to make sure you have enough to do a little bit extra, you can just throw into some other column. Just make it a little bit higher than what you want, because you really don't want to go beyond your budget. So if we want to save $500 extra a month, we've got to figure out $500 to get rid of. And just a disclaimer, this is not professional financial advice. This is just me personally sharing with you my opinion and thoughts on the matter. So if you do need professional advice, please seek that out for your finances. I'm just hoping to give some food for thought. These are just my personal thoughts on it. So again, to be aggressive, to get this $500 a month of extra savings that we want to set aside, dining out, maybe we just dine out once or twice a month, and we can cut that way back. Put that at $50, and I'm gonna put the entertainment date night things at $50 too. So maybe this is what you do. You do one or two quick dine outs during the month, and then you have one nice meal out, the kind of like your date, your big entertainment nights, things like that. And again, it could vary. If you've got more money and you're married, maybe date nights are very important, and you need to do that each week. So just something to look at there. Cable TV service. Oh, it's a big one. But man, if you could get rid of it, oh, how much money it could save. Or maybe you can find a lower cost provider. So for this, I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to say let's cut some of these streaming services in half. Maybe you only need to keep one. Maybe you don't need all that software. Additional. There we go. So now we're getting close. Now we only have about $110 that we need to figure out. So we've really cut down these once. And then we go over here. You know what? Maybe we can cut back. If you watch my first video, cutting off the coffee, taking out $5 a day. Maybe there's something in your groceries, or maybe there's something that you could cut out to save that. So maybe you could get your groceries down a little bit. Cell phone, maybe you don't buy the latest and greatest one. Like I said, maybe you can cut some stuff out there. So you just kind of have to look around, figure out what you can do. Maybe you try to get a new get a new thing on your insurance, a new quote. Maybe you can get that down $10 a month. So I'm just, again, these aren't real numbers, just throwing around some ideas and as to what you could do. If you can pay off loans, things like that, that's obviously all incredibly helpful. Maybe reduce your power usage somehow, some way, turn the AC up a degree or something, cut off an extra couple bucks there. Let's see, what do we need? We still need $20 more to make this balance out. And we are still setting aside an emergency fund, so maybe we can say that we've got that built up pretty well. And we cut that down since we're going to be shifting just a little bit into that. Oops. So again, having a spreadsheet like this, I think, is super helpful because it's just a quick way to be able to throw around some numbers. So look at those types of things. What are some things that you can cut back on? Like we talked about, can you cut out $5 a day? Cutting out $5 a day, there's about $150 a month right off the bat. Just in cutting out maybe some things you do while you're out and about, not buying the coffee while you're out, not eating out maybe as much. Looking at bills you can cut, or some subscriptions you can cut out. And then if it comes down to it, maybe it's selling some stuff to get a quick little cash boost. Getting yourself to that $500 a month savings. And so what could you do if you had saved $500 a month? Well, not only would that be $6,000 a year that you could put into savings or into investments, and I will have some future videos coming up on doing some investing, but just a quick little projection for you. If you were to set aside $500 per month at a standard rate of return of 7% in an investment, in 35 years you would be almost a millionaire. In 36 years you would have over $1 million of that saved up. And so those are things that are important to kind of look at as what is the goal, what am I working towards there. So I hope that is challenging, and again, $500 a month is just a number to throw out. Maybe for you it's higher, it's lower, but just looking at what are some ways that you can make those real decisions. And one last thing I'll say on this is, if you decide to do this, and again, let me go back to the budget here real quick. If you decide to make these cuts, it's important to make sure that money gets put into a savings account or into the investment. So what I do personally is each one of my paychecks, I get paid every other week. I have a set amount that gets direct deposited into a savings account and another amount that gets direct deposited into an investment account, in addition to like a 401k plan and things like that. So I have two separate deposits made into accounts that I have, so that when I get my paycheck, I'm operating off of that, because that's the important thing. Is if you just cut out $500 in your budget, well, you'll find a way to spend it. So it's really important to make sure that money is getting put into an account that you know you've set aside for future investment. So maybe you can do that through your employer. Start small somewhere. Say, hey, if it's $5 a day, you know what, I'm gonna take that $35 a week and have it put into a separate account. Or just make sure you have a discipline that when you get paid, that one of your bills to pay, that's a great way I like to look at it, is to pay yourself, to pay your savings account, to pay your investment account with that paycheck as if it was a normal bill, so it feels real to you. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful, gave you some things to think about, challenging a little bit with our finances, and I will see you all in the next video.